One Piece manga chapter 914. Guys, I'll be honest here, those back-to-back breaks we had this month really made me One Piece hungry. I'm not gonna lie, it was painful because I had to find other series to read. I think for the most part of us One Piece fans, One Piece is kind of like drugs. If you don't get a chapter during the week, we're probably gonna get grumpy as hell. Then we start speculating, making theories, something to fill in that missing chapter gap. Now, there wasn't anything you could talk about really. We're only a few chapters in Wano, so it's normal that people can't make anything off of it because we don't have enough information about this arc to form any decent speculation. But all jokes aside, we're back on schedule. I don't think we're gonna have another double break for a while now, because this month we had Oda taking his own break and Shonen Jump taking their break, so that kind of accumulated, and that's why we had back-to-back breaks. But again, we're back on schedule, so let's get into this One Piece chapter. Now, this was a really good chapter, just one of those plot progression chapters, which are my favorites, especially at the beginning of an arc, because you would want things to escalate rather than just wasting time on irrelevant things that don't really move the plot forward. Now, it was 18 pages, which is a lot different from Oda's usual 14-page chapters. But apart from that, we got a lot of dialogues about information pertaining to what's currently going on in Wano. I feel like these types of chapters is what we should be getting at the beginning of the arcs. Again, Oda's pacing is a lot faster than usual, which goes back to the fact that he's been waiting to draw this arc for a long time now, which shows that Oda is sort of deviating from his usual. Now, for the cover page, we're still on the side stories of the Luffy's Grand Fleet. Now, funny thing is that we've actually gone through all the members of the Grand Fleet because Harajin was the last one, and the majority of the other stories were shown during Whole Cake, so we don't exactly have anyone left to show. So I'm not exactly sure who this person was on the cover page at a first glance. Now, at first I thought it was Shanks because of the cape and the hair. That's like Shanks's signature attire. But again, this cover page seems to be related to the Straw Hats Grand Fleet, so I think this is actually, or could be, Bellamy. At the end of Dressrosa, it was heavily hinted that he was going to ally up with Luffy at some point in the story because he took Luffy's Vivid card. Now, this is going to be interesting because I've always wondered where Bellamy was going after the events of Dressrosa. And again, we see all these flags from different countries because the reverie is currently taking place. But yeah, I like this transition we're getting with Bellamy. Now, we started the chapter with Otama getting back in shape after taking some healing herbs that was given to her by Otsuru. She was then offered food, which she initially refused because the ingredients that is needed to make food is now scarce. Again, this really goes back to how bad the current state of the side of Wano is. The water is toxic because of the Kaido factories, and the land is just like in a bad state. Things aren't looking good for individuals that reside on this part of Wano. And the fact that Otama cried from eating the porridge really shows how deprived of food she was, because this was the first time she's actually eating something this upscale. Again, they're showing that the Shogun is really messing everything up. Now, she does have the ability to produce mochi, that weird ability of hers, but it was stated that it doesn't actually stop the hunger, which I guess is a downside to her ability. Now, we also get the reveal of Okiku in this chapter. Now, she is really tall, which was very unusual because in the last chapter we couldn't really tell how tall she was because she was just kind of like standing there alone. But next to Zoro, she's kind of tall when they were sitting down. Again, which is very unusual for female characters in One Piece because, if there's something I've noticed with Oda is that characters that are usually tall are usually quite strong. Now, this is the exact same girl that was used in the One Piece 20-year anniversary in Kyoto. So I do wonder if we're actually going to get the other blonde-haired guy at some point. Now, she mentioned that she's a samurai, which was hinted beforehand because she refers to herself just like a samurai, and it was revealed that she knows a lot about the Kaido pirates, which brings me to the assumption that she could be one of the rebellion forces that Kinemon talked about. Now, she has to be pretty strong because she was confident enough knowing that there was 30 artificial zone users and 3 headliners, including Hawkins, in the government district. So again, she could be really strong. I wouldn't be surprised if she takes out one of the headliners by herself, with the exception of Hawkins for obvious reasons. Now, we actually got introduced to 2 members of the Gifters, One of them was a bat smile user whose hearing is 6 times that of a normal person's. And we got Gazelle Man, who has the gazelle smile. Now this guy was actually more impressive than the bat because he was fast enough to take Otama without being noticed by Zoro and Luffy. And Luffy, who supposedly has this crazy observation. Now I guess it makes sense because everyone focused their attention on the bad guy, and that's why they weren't aware of Gazelle taking Otama. Now these gifters seem more impressive than the ones that showed up at Zou, because some of these guys have some really useful abilities, because we know the bad guy heard Asura from far away talking bad about the Shogun, and then the Gazelle Man states that he can actually move at 200 kilometers per second. Oh, is it per hour? I don't even fucking know. Now I'm not sure how fast that is, but it has to be pretty fast if he was able to take Otama that quickly and without Luffy and Zoro noticing. Now they also mentioned that the Kozuki clan were the rulers of Wano 20 years ago. That was till I guess Orochi came down and took it. Now the timeline is a bit weird because in Zou they made it sound like Oden was overthrown just recently, but it seems like it actually happened quite a while ago. Now this could also mean that Oden was actually hiding for a while, and it was fairly recently that Kaido and the Shogun finally killed him. I think that makes more sense. Now Okiku mentions that 3 headliners are currently in the government districts, Hawkins, Holden, and Speed. We actually get to see Holden a bit. Now the only problem here is Hawkins. As for Holden and Speed, we're not sure how strong they are. We know Sanji one-shotted a headliner back in Zou, so that should be the same for Luffy and Zoro, but that's going with the assumption that Kaido's headliners are of the same strength. Now some could be stronger than others, but I don't see them being stronger than the Supernova. Maybe we're gonna get, you know, the Daifuken oven counterparts of Kaido's crew, but I feel like those guys are gonna be of a higher rank. I think there's the headliners, something in the middle, then the Calamities. X-Drake probably has the highest rank, just under the Calamities, but again I don't think these guys are going to be any problem for Luffy and Zoro, and hopefully we get to see something new from Zoro. I want to see Zoro and Sanji fight more than Luffy right now. And we finally get the return of Law at the end of the chapter. Now they notice that the Straw Hats are about to start some problems, and so they want to stop Luffy before things get even more problematic. Though I feel like even with Law there, things are still going to escalate, because this is Luffy we're talking about here. And we also have Zoro, who is also of that same mindset. Now I think Hawkins is going to be key here. I feel like this is where he might defect, because we have Law who is going to get involved, and that might lead to a new alliance given how cool-headed Law is, and maybe that could spark some conversation between Law and Hawkins. But overall, this was a pretty good chapter. The information dump we got in this chapter was a 10 out of 10 for me. But overall, I would rate this chapter an 8 out of 10. But that's pretty much it for the video, guys. Comment down below what you guys think about this chapter. Like the video if you liked it. Subscribe for more One Piece content. Hit the notification bell if you want to get notified for future content. It is Pharaoh, and I will see you guys later. Peace. Now, you guys have probably noticed last week I didn't drop a chapter review, and that was because a day earlier, I actually got 2 strikes from Shueisha. Actually, 3 strikes from Shueisha. So my YouTube channel didn't have the ability to upload anything. The only thing I could use was the community tab. So yeah, it seems like Shueisha has been taking down a lot of videos recently. I mean, the Joroshe almost lost his channel recently, and I hear Straw Hat Snorlax got taken down. You know, King of Lightning and Brago got a strike recently. So YouTube is kind of shaky right now, especially if you use panels on your videos, which I don't use as often anymore because of how risky it is. You guys have probably noticed I've changed my editing style a little bit. I'm using more overlays, effects, and all of those things, so they won't track it down as easily. And even then, they can still take down your video, because what I've noticed was that all of the claims that I got from Shueisha were manual. So essentially, these guys came to my channel on a personal level, selected 3 videos, and took them down. So again, it is kind of scary finding out you got 3 strikes 3 a.m. in the morning, saying that you're gonna lose your channel in 7 days is one of the worst nightmares for a YouTuber. But everything is fine now. I got my channel back, won all the counterclaims, so we're back in business. So again, thank you guys for sticking around. I mean, 25k subscribers is nothing to sneeze at. You know, that's a lot of people, and without you guys, that wouldn't be possible. I wouldn't be here. So shout out to you guys, man. I know some of you guys have been with this channel when its name was called Akainu. I might actually do a video, you know, about how Ferrospace started, because it was a crazy journey. Again, shout out to all you guys for making this channel possible. But it is Pharaoh, and I will see you folks later. Peace.